Hello, I'm Dr. Corey Fawcett. So when is the best time to buy a house? Well, contrary to popular belief, not everybody makes money when they buy and sell a house, especially buying and selling their own house, and especially when you do it on the short term. On the short term, it is often better to rent a house than to buy a house. And what do we mean by short term? Well, experts think that it takes about 5 years for your house to appreciate enough to recover the closing costs in buying and selling your house. Most people underestimate the costs of closing the house, and buying was cheaper than selling. So if you're not going to be in a house for at least 5 years, economically there's a good chance you're going to lose money on the deal. So 5 years is a good break-even point. And this is why it's never a good idea for a resident to buy a house. Almost all residencies are 5 years or less. So it's rarely going to be enough time in your residency to make back the closing costs of your house. In fact, I talked to one resident who said, hey, it worked for me. I owned a house for 2 years, and when I moved, I made $40,000. I said, why don't we check that out? Because I'd like to see a positive example. And we looked through the numbers, and it turns out his perception of what he made and the reality of what he made were more than $40,000 off. Most of the time we take the buying price and the selling price, figure the difference and say that's how much money we made. And we forget to add all the closing costs and the interest that we paid along the way. Also, when you move to a new area, you don't really know the area well, and you don't know your partners in your hospital well, you may not be staying. It turns out between 30 and 70% of the people who pick a new job as a physician will leave that job within a few years. The interview process was just not good enough to be sure you're going to stay. If you're not going to stay, don't buy a house. I know many doctors who become reluctant landlords, been unable to sell their house, the market turned down before they could move, other problems that were ensuing in there. It just didn't work out well. In the short term, owning your house could be a burden. When you first move to your new job, rent something. Either rent a house, rent an apartment, a duplex, triplex, something, but don't buy initially. Make sure that you get enough time in that practice to understand that you're really going to stay, you really do like your partners, you really do like the hospital, and this is the place you're going to live the rest of your life, or at least 5 years. When you know that, it's easy to find a house. You're already living in the area, you can shop around, there's no big deal about timing. Trying to get escrow to close right when your job starts, no. Whenever it works out, you'll turn in your rental keys and you'll move into your dream house. Today's prescription, buy your house after you know you will be staying for at least 5 years. If you found this video helpful, share it with your friends. And don't forget to click subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And comment below if there's any topics you'd like me to cover in the future. You can find more information at drcorysfawcett.com. Thanks for joining me today. I'll see you later.